All right, it's nasty out. It's in the upper 30s, raining, just nasty. It's not real windy, so it's not like it's overly cold, but obviously with the cloud cover and just the drizzle, it's just miserable out. But me and Rio decided, say hey Rio, decided that we want to go down here to the river and try to pick up some fish for supper tonight. Not doing any tree work today for the foul weather, so what better to do but go out here and sit in the rain and try to catch some fish. So take you guys along with. River not really up. It's been raining for a couple of days, so it's not really up, but it's just muddied up a little bit. So I don't know, I figure we might get into some channels, blues, maybe some drum, but we want to try a new recipe. We're wanting to cook it, soak it in the Frank's hot sauce, and then roll it in the cornmeal and then fry it after that. And understanding that that's kind of the new hot setup, no pun intended, but nonetheless, we're going to give it a go and take you guys with and do a catch, clean, and cook and tell you what we think about this recipe. I'm going to cook it a little differently. I'm going to cook it outside, checking out a system that I've got for my Montana trip this year to make sure it's going to function well for me on the road so I can travel light, be able to cook as I go. So anyway, we're pulling up down here. We've got a little hike up river we'll take y'all with and show you what we come up with. Bless you guys. Brought Rio with me today. He's a kid in a candy store out here. He loves this stuff. And I think I can relate. Hey, come. I got to keep an eye on him. He'll get on pigs and deer, run them. Rio, come. Come here, bud. Heel. Hey, I said heel. Really didn't work with him on that much. It was just something that he just kind of naturally did. Hey, I didn't tell you to take off. He's a little resistant of it, but I'll tell you what, I'm pretty impressed with the old boy. Nope, heel. You give him a praise though, and boy, he'll take off. All right, got the rods out. Actually, 3 of those are set. The other one's just jobbed down in there to keep it out of the mud. He won't stay out of the water, and he's just shivering like crazy, but he don't seem to care. Oh, we're getting a bite right there. Had a bite on that middle one. We'll keep an eye on it. The mud here is terrible on the boots. It's like you gain 20 pounds of boot there. Oh, it's cold. Yeah, I guess I better check the bait on this one. Still good. Not expecting, nope. As soon as I stand up, he starts heading for the water. Stay. And I'm trying to keep him out of the water so he don't hypothermiate. I don't know if that's a word, but I kind of made it up right then as I was speaking. And it felt right, so I'm going with it. Hypothermiate. All right, we got a fish trying to get silly with us here, so and that feels like a catfish. Rio, get out of there. You don't feel like a giant, but he feels decent. Better tie that drag up. He cut it in a long ways. I think he just found out he was hooked. Looks like a channel, but I can't tell for sure. Oh, that's perfect. Rio, no sir. That is perfection. Pretty little old blue. Yeah, that is a dandy. Oh, I didn't. Okay, this feels pretty small, but we'll see. All right, get the camera adjusted again. That's a drum. I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna keep him, and we're gonna eat him. We're eating drum and catfish tonight, kids. Drum and catfish. I dug the worms there at the house just a little bit ago, and I don't know how many I got, probably 40, and it took about 2 minutes. It was a worm digging machine there for a couple minutes. Got what I needed, packed up and came to the river. Here we are. Me and the Rio. Shiverio. Turning out to be pretty out there. Look at that. I guess I should slow the swing on the camera, but man, that's beautiful. It's going to warm you up a little bit. Got fish for supper, so we're going to go home and try out this new recipe. So we're going to pack up. Got a pretty decent little hike back to the pickup, and dang, I'm just dripping here where I'm standing. So anyway, I'm going to get. All right, here we are. We're here set up to do the catch, clean, and cook that I talked about earlier. I've got 2 small drum and this one soaking in the Franks, and I've got 1 blue cat, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 pounds soaking here in the Franks. So I've got just some Cajun fish fry seasoning. But what I'm doing is I'm cooking with my system that I'm going to be using in Montana this year. I'm going to be doing probably a 6-week stint up in Montana, and I'm going to be living in the back of my pickup with a camper shell on it, which I do this every couple years, and you know, kind of live off cheap dining, sometimes roadkill even. So I've made a bit of a hobo stove, and I'm not going to fully use this as a hobo stove here tonight. What I'm wanting to do tonight is use it with my pocket rocket. So I've got the little butane bottle. Let me get my pocket rocket out. I got my thumb super glued up from that little episode earlier when I was filleting the fish. My hands were really cold. I was down at the river cleaning them in the river, and my hands were so cold, and not bitter cold outside, probably 38 degrees or something, wind blowing, raining. My hands were cold, and boy, I laid myself open. I couldn't get it to stop bleeding. But this is how I'm going to do a lot of my cooking on the road. I can eat really affordably with this, and I've never used the hobo stove with the pocket rocket arrangement set up inside here. So I've got it vented pretty well. I've also just got, one of the things that I found cooking with the pocket rocket is it's not very stable, especially if you're using the smaller canisters. You know, you don't have near the footprint. But even then, when you're trying to cook, you know, something that's fairly tall or the ground's not perfectly level, it's really easy to dump them over and you can lose a whole meal. I mean, and catch things on fire and everything else. So what I'm trying to do with this is give myself a better platform to cook off of. My concern is when I put a pan on here, I've got just a burner top. When I put a pan on here, is enough heat going to get out of here that my propane, or my butane bottle down inside is not going to get too hot. I'm just going to cook it in the same pan that I'm going to be using when I get up there. I think we're going to be okay with letting plenty of heat out to not overheat the canister down inside there. So I'm going to go ahead and get a good bit of grease poured in here. And I'm going to run the drum first, and then the catfish. So here's the deal. Just marinating it in Frank's hot sauce. I've never done this before. I've just seen people doing it, and it seems to be all the rage. So here we go. Sure don't want to get that Frank's in my cut, I promise you that, which I've got it pretty sealed off now. This is drum, freshwater drum. I did a catch, clean, and cook on that fish last week. Cleaned it with a rock. Today I did not clean it with the rock. Today I cleaned me and the fish with my folding bubble blade. Thank you, Carrie Tate, for the folding bubble blade. All right, here we go. Let's put some drum in. Okay. That's the last of the drum in the grease there. I'm going to get a quick sample just because that's what I do. Okay, so you can really taste the franks, but it's not hot. It's like more the sourness of it you taste, and that's really good. I am a fan. It's yeah, that flavor it works. Put some catfish in now. Hey, Mama. Can you come try this? Huh? Just grab a small one. They're hot, so you have to boil them a little bit. Over here. Oh, this is drum. Oh. With franks. It's not hot, but you can taste the franks.
You smell the franks.
Can you? Yeah. It's a big yay for me, but I like sour.
Yeah.
Like, I really like it. But you seem a little...
No, it's hot.
It's hot. Hot with fire.
I heard it tastes good.
So it's a yay? Yeah, I think so too. I like it.
It's different, but yeah.
It's drum. This is all drum. Yeah. All right. I guess one of the cool things about the hobo stove is you can actually use it as a stove without the pocket rocket. You know, without the butane and without the little pocket stove, you can just put wood in this, light it, and use it as a stove that way. All right. My little portable thermometer that I take when I'm out on the river, especially cooking wild pig or some of the different critters that I eat out on the river. I like to make sure I've got it hot enough, but I like to do it without going overboard, because most wild game is so lean that if you overcook it, it makes leather out of it. This is not overcooked. This is absolute money. Take a sniff. All right, let's go eat. All right, so just like that, that was our first time to ever try the marinated in Frank's hot sauce and then throw it into the cornmeal and throw it in the hot grease. And tell you what, it's good. It's definitely something we're going to be doing a lot more of, and I encourage you to give it a go. It doesn't make it hot. It makes it flavored. And so I guess the heat cooks out of the Franks, but it really wasn't spicy in that capacity. It was just flavored. And that's what it makes me think about when I think about flavors and diversity and things of that nature. That's what it makes me think about in the Word of God, where the Word of God calls us salt and light. And it tells us to, in Colossians, that our conversation should be seasoned with salt. And so I believe that could mean a lot of things, but I believe one thing for sure that means is to be seasoned with truth. And I think that is one flavor that people really do savor, but they haven't tasted it in so long that it's almost odd to taste truth. It's almost icky to us now because we haven't tasted that. We've tasted a manufactured byproduct or man-made sort of a thing, and it's very palatable. But when I'm talking about the truth, I'm talking about the truth of the Word of God. And so that's what I want to encourage you with, is to understand that our conversation is to be seasoned with truth and with goodness and godliness and encouragement as well. But I think it's easy for us to get caught up in just wanting to be encouraging and nice and lose touch with the reality that there's a truth sometimes that isn't palatable at the time, but in eternity, it's very palatable. Truth is always flavorful when you think about eternity. So that's what I challenge you guys with tonight is, what is your conversation seasoned with? What is it? Yeah, what's sprinkled over the top of your conversation when somebody lends an ear to your words? What are you saying? What are you coarsely joking about? What foul language is coming out of your mouth? What garbage, what trash is coming out of your mouth versus the goodness of the Word of God and truth and encouragement and love and, well, the simple, goodly, godly things? Are those things coming out of you or not? So that's the deal. That's what I want to encourage you with. Man, we've been trying to post a bunch of videos here lately. It's been nasty weather, and so I've been a little under the weather, in fact, and so I haven't been able to get out and do a whole lot of working. It's been slick. The trees I can't climb, so trying to get a little bit of content with just some silly stuff like this and keep you guys with something to do because you're dealing with the same weather that I'm dealing with. I want to encourage you guys with the Word of God and with truth and with hope and with love and with just this reality of this eternity that we're all going to be spending together. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching. I love you. And hopefully we'll get you another one out here in the not too distant future. Bless you guys.